Alex and I had built a life together that felt almost too perfect. 5 years of marriage, a stable home, and a love that had stayed strong despite the usual ups and downs. He was reliable, kind, and always made me feel safe. I never had any reason to doubt him or question my own loyalty. That was until Ethan moved in. Ethan was Alex's twin brother, identical in appearance but completely different in personality. While Alex was calm and steady, Ethan was reckless and charming. He had just gone through a tough divorce and needed a place to stay, so Alex insisted we help him get back on his feet. It was supposed to be temporary. At first, I saw Ethan as nothing more than family. He was struggling, and I felt sorry for him. But soon, I started noticing the way he looked at me. It wasn't the look of a brother-in-law, it was something else. Something that made my skin tingle and my heart race. I tried to tell myself I was imagining things, but the signs were clear. The way his eyes lingered on me a little too long, the way he smiled when Alex wasn't around, and those casual touches that felt a little too much. Alex, being the trusting person he was, didn't notice. He was just happy to have his brother around and to help him out. But I wasn't sure if Ethan felt the same way. He had this smirk, this quiet confidence, like he knew something I didn't. And then, the comments started. "Ever wonder what it would be like if you had met me first?" he asked one night, his voice low. I laughed it off, pretending it was a joke, but my stomach twisted. He didn't stop there. He started giving compliments that felt too personal, making comparisons between himself and Alex that made me uncomfortable. "We may look the same, but you know we're different," he murmured one evening when Alex had stepped out. I should have shut it down right then. I should have told Alex, but I didn't. Instead, I convinced myself it was harmless and ignored it. I tried to avoid being alone with him as much as I could, but that seemed to amuse him. He liked pushing boundaries, testing limits, and maybe, deep down, a part of me liked the attention. One evening, as I was cleaning up after dinner, Ethan stood too close behind me. I could feel his breath on my neck, the heat of his presence. "Does he make you feel wanted?" he whispered. My hand trembled, and I turned away, my heart pounding. I told myself it was nothing, that I had control, but I knew better. The tension was building, and I was lying to myself if I thought it would stop there. Ethan wasn't going to back down, and the worst part? A small, dark part of me wasn't sure I wanted him to. I started avoiding him, but it didn't matter. He found ways to insert himself into moments where he shouldn't be. When Alex was around, Ethan played the role of the perfect brother, but when he wasn't, the lines blurred. Grateful, brother, harmless, and easygoing, but when we were alone, the air between us shifted into something else. I told myself I wasn't interested, that it was just Ethan playing his games, but my body betrayed me. The way my pulse quickened when he walked into a room, the way my breath hitched when his hand brushed against mine, it was all proof that I wasn't as indifferent as I wanted to be. One evening, Alex was stuck late at work, and I was alone in the kitchen when Ethan walked in. He leaned against the counter, watching me with that knowing look. "You don't have to pretend," he said, voice smooth, confident. I didn't answer. I couldn't. He took a step closer, his fingers trailing along the marble surface. "You feel it too, don't you?" I swallowed hard, shaking my head, but he didn't need words to know the truth. "I know what you're thinking," he murmured. "That it's wrong, that you love him. But what if love isn't just about doing the right thing?" My breath caught, and I turned away, forcing a laugh. "You think too much of yourself." "Maybe," he admitted. "Or maybe you're scared to admit you want something you shouldn't." The worst part was, he wasn't wrong. The attraction was there, simmering beneath every stolen glance, every accidental touch. I told myself I would never cross the line, but temptation is a strange thing. It doesn't ask permission. It sneaks up on you, wearing down your defenses until suddenly, what once seemed impossible feels inevitable. The first real mistake happened when Alex was out of town for a work trip. It was late, and Ethan had been drinking. I was about to head to bed when he stopped me in the hallway, his eyes dark, unreadable. "You keep running from this," he said. "There's nothing to run from," I shot back, my voice weaker than I intended. He reached out, his fingers barely grazing my arm, a simple touch, but it burned through me like fire. "If I kissed you right now," he said quietly, "would you stop me?" My mind screamed yes, but my body betrayed me. I didn't move. I should have pushed him away, should have walked into my bedroom and locked the door. But I didn't. Instead, I let the moment stretch too long, let my hesitation speak louder than any answer I could have given. That was all he needed. And then, before I even realized what was happening, his lips were inches from mine. My heart pounded, my breath shallow. It was just one moment, one fleeting, reckless moment, but it was enough to change everything. I told myself it would stop there, that I had caught myself just in time. But once the line had been blurred, it was impossible to redraw. Avoiding Ethan only made the tension worse. Every time we were in the same room, the air was thick with everything unspoken, with everything we both knew had almost happened. Then came the night Alex had to leave for a last-minute business trip. I should have left the house, made an excuse to stay somewhere else. But I didn't. Instead, I went about my evening as usual, convincing myself that nothing would happen as long as I kept my distance. Ethan wasn't going to let that happen. I found him in the living room, a glass of whiskey in his hand, his gaze steady, unreadable. "You're acting like something happened between us," he said. I swallowed hard. "Nothing did. But you wanted it to." His voice was quiet, certain. I shook my head, forcing myself to stay firm. "This is wrong. I love Alex." His jaw tensed, and for the first time, something unreadable flickered across his face. "Does loving him mean you don't want me?" I turned away, trying to steady my breath, but he was already behind me. "Tell me you don't feel it," he said. "Tell me you don't think about it." I should have walked away. I should have pushed him off and left the room. But instead, I stood there, frozen, my heart hammering against my ribs. And then his hand was on my waist, fingers pressing into my skin just enough to make me shiver. "You want to stop this?" he whispered. "Then stop me." But I didn't. The moment his lips met mine, every ounce of restraint I had left crumbled. It was desperate, reckless, and so wrong, but I didn't care. His hands were on me, his breath hot against my skin, and I let myself fall into it. For the first time, I wasn't thinking about Alex. I wasn't thinking about the consequences. I was only thinking about Ethan, about the way he made me feel, about the hunger I had spent weeks trying to suppress. And then it was over. The weight of what I had just done crashed over me like a tidal wave. I pulled away, breathless, guilt already twisting in my stomach. Ethan smirked, his fingers brushing against my lips. "You can't take that back." I didn't say a word. I couldn't. Because he was right. And now, there was no undoing what had been done. The moment Alex came home, I knew something was different. He kissed me like always, asked about my day, but there was something in his eyes, something off. My guilt made me paranoid, made me see suspicion in places it might not have existed. I told myself to act normal, to bury what had happened so deep that even I could forget. But Ethan wouldn't let me. He was different now, bolder. No more teasing or subtle glances. Now, it was knowing smirks, lingering touches when Alex wasn't looking, little reminders that made my stomach twist. It wasn't just a mistake anymore. It was a secret. And Ethan liked that. One night, as Alex showered, Ethan leaned in close, his voice barely above a whisper. "Do you think about it?" I stiffened, staring straight ahead. "You need to stop." "Stop what?" He chuckled. "I haven't done anything yet." Panic rose in my throat. "Ethan, this is over." "You sure about that?" His voice was amused, but there was something else beneath it, something darker. I avoided him after that, kept my distance, but the tension was suffocating. I thought I could move past it, pretend it never happened. But then, late one night, Alex sat down beside me, his expression unreadable. Did something happen while I was gone? My breath caught. "What do you mean?" He studied me, his jaw tight. "Ethan said something. Something I don't believe." He exhaled, shaking his head. "I just need to hear you say it's not true." Everything inside me froze. Ethan had said something. I forced myself to stay calm, to meet his eyes. "What did he say?" Alex hesitated. "He said you wanted him. That you kissed him." His voice was tight, like the words physically hurt to say. "That if I hadn't come home when I did, it would have been more." Blood pounded in my ears. "He's lying." The words came out too fast, too rehearsed. Alex searched my face, and for a second, I thought he might believe me. But then his expression changed. "You hesitated," he said quietly. My stomach dropped. Before I could say anything, a voice came from the hallway. "Why don't you just tell him the truth?" "Ethan." He leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, a smirk playing at his lips. "She's lying, Alex. You know she is." Alex's fists clenched, his entire body rigid. "You need to leave." Ethan shrugged. "I'll go. But don't pretend this didn't happen." His eyes flicked to me, something unreadable in them. She made her choice. I could barely breathe as the door slammed behind him. Alex turned back to me, his face unreadable. "Did you?" His voice was quiet. "Did you choose him?" Tears burned my eyes, but I had no answer. Because no matter how badly I wanted to take it back, we both knew the truth.